Am I the a-hole for telling an employee she can choose between demotion or termination? I own a vape shop. We're a small business, only 12 employees. One of the employees, Peggy, was supposed to open yesterday. She was recently being promoted to manager after 2 solid years of good work as a cashier. I really thought she could handle this responsibility. So I wake up 3 hours after the place should be open, and I have 22 notifications on the store Facebook page. Customers have been trying to come to shop, but the store is closed. Employees are showing up to work, but they're locked out. I called Peggy. I get no response. I text her, same thing. So I go in and open the store. An hour before her shift was supposed to be over, she called me back. I asked if she's okay and says she needed to take a mental health day and do some self-care. I'm still pretty pissed at this point, but I'm still trying to be understanding, as I know how important mental health can be. So I asked her why she didn't call me as soon as she knew she needed a day off. Her response, I didn't have enough spoons in my drawer for that. Frankly, I DK what that means, but it seems like, to me, she's saying she cannot be trusted to handle the responsibility in opening store in the AM. So I told her she had 2 choices. Go back to her old position with her old pay. I fire her immediately. She's calling me all sorts of is now and saying I'm discriminating against her due to her poor mental health and her gender. None of this would have been a problem if she simply took 2 minutes to call out. I would have got up and opened the store on time, but this no call no show shit is not a way to run a successful business. I think I might be the age here because I'm taking away her promotion over something she really had no control over. But at the same time, she really could have called me. So read it, I leave it to you. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for modifying a dish even though it wasn't requested? I, 28 female, worked as a chef in a local Italian restaurant. We are expensively trained in matters like cross-contamination, and we are very careful with customers who say they have food allergies. Like, we have a section for kitchen specifically for preparing dishes for customers that can have nuts, dairy, shellfish, or other common allergies. We serve some dishes with pesto in them, which typically contains both pine nuts and Parmesan cheese. But pesto is fairly quick to make. Basil, olive oil, garlic, pine nuts, Parmesan, a bit of lemon juice, blend, done. And we've made nut-free and dairy-free pesto in the past for customers who have requested it. We don't mind doing it so if customers just ask for it. Last night, a server puts in an order for a kitchen pesto over a pasta dish and informs the chef that a person that's on the table has a nut allergy. So no problem, I begin making pesto without nuts in our allergy-free section of the kitchen. Dish is ready. Get served, comes back. Server tells us that the man who ordered it said the pesto tasted odd to him. I explained to her that I made a nut-free pesto since we were informed that someone at the table had a nut allergy. She goes back out, explains this to him, and comes back saying that he asked for the manager. Manager and the man comes to the window, and the man says, my wife has the allergy, not me. I want a regular pesto. We were informed that someone at the table had a nut allergy. We didn't know who, so we prepared it in our nut-free zone. I replied, you shouldn't just assume that it was the person ordering. You don't notify things unless you ask to. The man says, I mean, was it a dumb assumption of me? Everyone else in the kitchen assumed the same thing I did, and we were playing on the side of safety. Were we a-holes to assume? We did remarkable dish, and we served got badly tipped for something that wasn't her fault. Am I the a-hole for being honest with my aunt about my life and making her feel bad? When I was 13, my mom and I had to leave our house for safety. We went to stay with my aunt, who at the time was the only family member who lived in the same country as us. Aunt agrees to take us in and said we could stay as long as we wanted until we found a new place. Well, 3 weeks she kicked us out without warning, and Mom and I are back in the road. It was awful. It took a huge toll on both our mental and physical health. My grades dropped, and I became an antisocial and a problem child in school. We would couch surf and go from hotel to hotel. Because he had a complete control over my mom's money, when they were together, my mom had less than 100 pounds in the bank and would scramble to get money. She worked 3 jobs and I worked 1. We spent time homeless shelters, and there was a point in time where my mom was seriously thinking foster care would be best for me. When I was 16, we managed to secure a tiny 1-room apartment, and we've been living there ever since. I turned 18 a couple weeks ago, and my aunt got contact out of the blue. She said some BS about how my mom refused to keep in contact with her. We couldn't really afford to maintain cost of phones and how she'd like to see me again. I agree, but then the meeting quickly turned sour. I don't know why, but she assumes that after she kicked us out, we were living our best lives. I snapped and told her much once that decision fucked our lives up, and I will never forgive her. I was pretty harsh with my words, but I couldn't believe she was seriously thought kicking out mentally, physically, and financially broken mother and child would end well. And I stormed out and she started crying when I explained the above. Last night, I got a message from her essentially begging for my forgiveness because she can't sleep and feels so awful. Am I the a-hole?